What if I told you that a few weeks ago I came across a very strange document? It wasn't meant for the public. It wasn't a YouTube video. It wasn't a business book. It wasn't a course someone was trying to sell you. It was an internal report that supposedly circulated among consultants who help wealthy investors discover products before they become popular. I don't know whether the document was lost. I don't know whether it was leaked, but I do know one thing. Someone spent hundreds of hours analyzing products that most people completely ignore. And as I was reading it, one thing immediately caught my attention. These weren't million-dollar startups. They weren't AI companies. They weren't cryptocurrencies. They weren't revolutionary inventions. They were ordinary products we use every day. Products we see all the time. Products we walk past without giving them a second thought. Yet somehow, someone had found a way to turn them into luxury brands with enormous profit margins. The document contained dozens of ideas. Some were interesting, some were strange, but a few were so unusual that I couldn't believe anyone was making serious money from them. And according to the notes in the report, one of these ideas could be started with relatively little capital and potentially grow into a global brand. Which one is it? You'll find out in just a few minutes. The luxury pet empire. The pet industry is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. But here's the interesting part. People often cut back on spending for themselves. They postpone buying a new phone. They postpone vacations. They postpone buying new clothes. But they rarely cut back when it comes to their dog. One simple sentence stood out in the report. Treat the pet owner like a luxury customer. And that's exactly where most companies get it wrong. They sell pet products, while the most successful brands sell status, emotion, and belonging. Imagine handcrafted leather collars, made by hand, featuring solid brass hardware, personalized metal tags, a unique serial number, a premium gift box, a product that looks like it came from a luxury boutique in Milan. According to the notes, a product like this may cost only 8 to 15 euros to manufacture. Yet the final retail price often reaches between 80 and 200 euros. And here's the most interesting part. Customers aren't buying a collar. They're buying the feeling that their pet deserves something special. Now you may be wondering how something like this is produced. According to the document, the most commonly used equipment includes a fiber laser machine for engraving, a CO2 laser machine for leather processing, a UV printer for personalization and branding. And all of these machines can be sourced from Chinese manufacturers at relatively affordable prices. Most sales are generated through Shopify, Amazon, Etsy, Instagram, and TikTok Shop. But what surprised me was that this wasn't the highest margin idea in the report. In fact, the next product supposedly generated even greater profits, even though most people would never guess that anyone would pay that much for it. When I saw the next idea, I honestly thought it had to be a mistake, but the numbers told a completely different story. The $200 umbrella. Yes, an umbrella. An ordinary umbrella. At least that's what I thought. But the report revealed an interesting trend. Wealthy people don't buy umbrellas. They buy status. They buy design. They buy a story. Imagine a handle made from walnut wood, hand-polished, brass accents, limited edition collections, personalized engraving, a unique serial number, a luxury gift box, an umbrella that looks more like a collector's item than something you carry in the rain. According to the report, some brands manage to charge more than 300 euros for models like these. And here's the most interesting part. The core product already exists. You don't need to manufacture an umbrella from scratch. You source ready-made frames and mechanisms. Then you add your own brand, your own story, your own design, and premium packaging. What's fascinating is that a product like this doesn't require a massive factory. According to the notes in the report, many brands started with just a few specialized machines and carefully selected components sourced from suppliers in China. The focus wasn't on manufacturing. The focus was on creating a product that looked unique. A fiber laser machine for engraving metal components and serial numbers. A CO2 laser machine for wooden handles and leather elements. a UV printer for logos, branding, and limited edition collections, a heat press machine for printing custom designs on the fabric canopy. According to the notes in the report, manufacturing cost 20 to 40 euros. Retail price 150 to 300 euros. Which means the greatest value isn't in the umbrella itself. It's in the brand, the design, the exclusivity. But what really caught my attention was a note on the following page. In the document, this wasn't ranked as the best idea. In fact, the next one was marked with a red label and a short comment, "Undervalued opportunity." The moment I read that, I immediately wanted to know what it was. And honestly, I didn't expect such a simple product to have so much potential. The shoehorn business. This was perhaps the strangest idea in the entire document. A shoehorn. Yes, you heard that correctly. A shoehorn. At first glance, it seems like the kind of product that could never become a premium brand. But the report claimed the exact opposite. This wasn't about a cheap plastic shoehorn. It was about a product crafted from solid brass, titanium, hand-polished surfaces, leather accents, a luxury gift box, personalization, a unique serial number. One sentence in the report stood out: "The richer the customer, the more they appreciate small rituals." And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. People don't just buy products. They buy experiences. Small daily rituals that make them feel different. According to the report, production typically involves a CNC machine for shaping metal components, a fiber laser for personalization and serial numbers, a polishing machine for a mirror-like finish. According to the notes in the document, manufacturing cost around 10 euros. Retail price between 80 and 250 euros. But what surprised me even more was a handwritten note in the margin of the page. Next to this idea was a short comment. Most people laugh at it. Then they see the margins. If you'd like to calculate the potential profits of products like these yourself, you'll find a free ROI calculator in the description below. By this point, the ideas already seemed unusual enough. Honestly, I thought the document couldn't get any stranger. I was wrong. The next idea was so bizarre that I read the note beside it 3 times just to make sure that's what it actually said. The designer waste bin, a trash can. I know what you're thinking. Who would pay hundreds of euros for a trash can? I asked myself the exact same question when I saw this idea. But apparently a lot of people would. Minimalist homes, luxury offices, boutique hotels, premium Airbnb properties, architects, interior designers. The problem is that most trash cans look like something you'd rather hide. But what if the trash can became part of the design? That's exactly what the author of the report had discovered. Instead of cheap plastic, wood, leather, metal, handcrafted details, artistic design, a product that looks more like a modern sculpture than a waste bin. According to the notes, the most successful brands in this niche don't sell trash cans. They sell aesthetics. They sell design. They sell the feeling that every detail in a room has been carefully chosen. Production typically involves a CNC router for shaping wooden panels, a laser cutter for precision cuts and detailing, a spray finishing booth for premium finishes and protective coatings. And here's the most interesting part. These products often end up in hotels, offices, and homes where price isn't the primary concern. Sales are typically made through interior design stores, luxury furniture websites, boutique hotels, architect networks, direct-to-consumer brands. And at this point, I started to think I had already seen the best this document had to offer. It turned out I wasn't even close. Before discovering the final idea, I thought I had already seen the most impressive opportunity in the report. But the next idea had more underlined sentences than any other. More notes. More comments from the consultants. Almost as if they were trying to say, if you pay attention to only one idea in this entire document, make it this one. And when I finally read it, I understood exactly why. The luxury extension cord. This was the idea that surprised me the most. An extension cord. Every home has at least one. Every office has several. Yet almost all of them look exactly the same. Cheap plastic. Generic design. Something people try to hide behind furniture. But then I came across a note in the document, and suddenly everything made sense. What if, instead of hiding the extension cord, you turned it into part of the interior design? Now imagine this: a walnut wood housing, a braided fabric cable, brass switches, an engraved serial number, a limited edition release, premium packaging, a product that looks like it was designed by a company obsessed with every detail. One sentence in the report stood out: every object in a premium home should look intentional. And that's exactly why this idea had more consultant notes than any other in the document. You're not selling a cable. You're selling aesthetics. You're selling organization. You're selling a better-looking workspace. Production typically involves a cable cutting machine for automated cable preparation, a wire stripping machine for processing the wires, a CNC router for manufacturing the wooden housings, a laser engraver for branding and serial numbers. What caught my attention even more was the fact that many of the components can be sourced from existing manufacturers, while most of the value is created through design, finishing, and branding. According to the notes, manufacturing cost 15 to 25 euros. Retail price 120 to 350 euros. And when I saw this idea, I finally understood why it had been highlighted so many times throughout the report. Not because it was the most complicated, but because most people would never imagine that a market for such a product even exists. And yet, that market already exists. And it's growing. And those were just the first 5 ideas from the document. But as I continued reading, things became even more interesting. The next products were even more unusual. Products that most people completely ignore. Yet some companies are making millions from them. In part 2, I'll show you even stronger ideas. Some of them require only a single machine. Some can be started from a garage. And one of them, according to the notes in the report, has the potential to become a multi-million-dollar brand. If you'd like to calculate the potential profits of any of the ideas you've seen today, check out the free ROI calculator in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next file I opened was even stranger and even more profitable.